Hey, I'm Aashi, and my topic is about protests in Afghanistan, and I'm part of the Education for All movement.
My name is Akiva. I'm a part of the Mask for All movement. My topic is mask mandates in Florida.
My name is Jackie, and my topic is about the Texas abortion laws that are usurping women's rights on their bodies, and I'm a part of the women reproductive rights movement.
Hi, my name is Tiffany, and my topic is about the negative effect that the thin ideal has on young women and adolescent girls, and I'm a part of the Positive Self-Image for Women movement.
So, to add a little bit more emphasis to my topic, it's basically about how the citizens of Afghanistan, especially women, against the all-male government, are protesting against the Taliban rule, and their voices need to be heard so that we can help them.
I also find a similarity with my topic because I also believe that women's voices need to be heard, and especially in Texas right now, there are abortion laws that are taking away their rights to get abortions after the 6-week mark, and I think it's really unjust. And like your topic, they're both not like women are not being listened to, so I really see similarities in that.
With my topic, I see similarities with both Jackie and Ashi's topics. So the people that perpetuate this thin ideal are sources like film and media, the fashion industry, family, and peers. And these pressures can cause adolescents and young women to turn to really drastic measures to be thin. And in order to be seen as worthy, they will intentionally harm themselves to be society's ideal woman.
Well, not like any of your guys's, but in Florida, people aren't wearing the masks and they want their children to go back to school, which can cause more harm than good, even though they think they might be doing good for their child to go back to school for like a more social life. But in the end, it might cause more harm as their child might get sick and spread that to their family, and then it might cause more deaths and more hospitals to get filled up.
And I think with like all of our topics, we can just see a lot of opposing ideas. Like people are disagreeing on certain things, and people are just like having fights on what and what not to do.
Mm-hmm. And I think it really shows how like media can push a perspective on certain things.
Right, so speaking of the Florida mask mandates, you were saying that they're sending their kids back to school, so are they the most at risk, or like who's the most at risk in terms of not wearing a mask?
I think the children mainly, and as well as like old folk who can't really protect themselves. Like if a child goes to school and then they come back home and like their grandma lives with them or something, they can spread the sickness to their grandma, and that can lead to two very vulnerable individuals to get sick.
I've also heard a lot of like teachers have been recently getting sick because they're also at a really big risk because they're seeing multiple children a day, so that's like a really high risk for everybody, honestly.
Most def.
Yeah, my question is, since we're not in Florida, we live in Georgia, so how would that affect us?
Well, you see, if more cases start to rise and if more people travel to Florida, because, it's a big vacation spot, people can come back with that sickness, and it can cause, more quarantines and whatnot, and I don't think anyone wants to be in quarantine anymore, so, know.
What do you think some people in Florida specifically can do to protect themselves?
I think they can either vaccinate themselves or they can wear masks if they don't want to vaccinate themselves, which isn't really that hard, as they've been doing it for a while. But I feel like if they don't want to mask or vaccinate themselves, it's either best to stay inside for, however long they need to, unless they really need something.
So, Aashi, I was wondering that exactly why in Afghanistan are people protesting?
So it's mainly the women protesting because young girls are being deprived of their education, and it's happening against the Taliban government, who put this whole rule over most of Afghanistan.
Yeah, I definitely see similarities with my topic too, because it's mostly women protesting because of the Texas abortion laws that are taking away their rights on women. So I see the similarities.
If the girls don't go to school, what do they do?
So basically, it's been in a society for a while now, how they would not be able to go to school in the first place just so they could do household chores. And so things like learning how to cook and how to clean, and it's mainly to prepare them for their marriage and things like that. A lot of men think that instead of getting an education, it is good to know how to serve them well and things like that.
I definitely think that's really unfair, like a lot of the things that we've been talking about. Like it can put a lot of mental health issues to women that are staying at home because they can't go out and get education that a lot of women probably want.
Right, yeah.
I have a question. Why are people being jailed for protesting?
So I feel like this is a common pattern we see around the world, that whenever someone calmly protests something, they are wrongly accused or wrongly treated. So the same thing is happening in Afghanistan. They're mainly jailing reporters that are trying to record what's going on. So journalists from local news organizations, they're being beaten up and jailed for reporting all of this. And it's mainly because of the Taliban thinks that these protests and demonstrations are unlawful to their society, to their culture and religion, things like that.
So Tiffany, I have a question. So I was wondering at what certain age do young women usually feel like they need to lose weight? Because I know it's been an ongoing problem, especially now with social media. A lot of things have changed in young women's minds.
So one article that I did read and get information from did a study on participants from ages 11 to 21. And when they asked them about their weight, they noted that the 11-year-olds and the adolescents started talking about being fat or being skinny, but they never really asked them specifically about that. They had just asked them about their body.
I saw something where even Barbie dolls or dolls that we play with as kids have affected how our image on our body has been changed, especially on young kids. So I've seen now that they're making different sized Barbies, and it's really helping little girls' mind to change their perspective that they don't have to be skinny and tall, all that.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Even the same as in movies and stuff now, Disney movies, they're not all tall, slender, blonde woman.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I feel that affects children's minds even at a young age, and they might not notice it, but it leaves long-term impact because a lot of women think that they have to look like that.
So, regarding this topic, Tiffany, you said that urging people to lose weight is dangerous. So, how exactly is it dangerous? What does it do?
Well, it's dangerous because it does create more than just a negative self-body image issues. For example, one of the articles found a high percentage of women who were average weight or underweight, but they still tried to lose weight, which if they lose a certain amount could cause long-term health effects and just really bad things happen.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah.
To follow up on Ashi's question, how are some of the weight loss methods dangerous?
I did mention that they can cause long-term health effects, which specifically for underweight women could cause things maybe like cardiovascular risk, infertility, or preterm birth. And some of the unhealthy ways that they try to lose weight would be going on unsupervised strict diets or having these really harsh workout routines without a trainer.
No, earlier this year I got really sick, and because I got sick, I lost a lot of weight, and I noticed the effects it had on my body. I was extremely dizzy, I was losing hair, and I can definitely see that if women are constantly doing this without even being sick or having a reason to, it can cause long effects that can affect them until they're adults that they can't even fix anymore because they're so terminally ill inside.
Yes.
Yeah, all the way. But Jackie, I had a question about the abortion stuff. So why do people oppose the idea of abortion?
So a lot of people have religious reasons to oppose abortion, and that's one of the main ones. But also another main reason is that because of past ideologies, people think that abortions are morally wrong because they think that babies have a right to life, and it's more important than a woman's mental health or their situation that they're living in. So they think because that baby has a right to life, they have to be born no matter what, and it's morally wrong to have an abortion.
So how can this affect a woman's life, abortion?
Well, a lot of women aren't financially ready or mentally ready to have a child. Sometimes there's early pregnancies at like the age of us, like in high school, and a lot of women don't even have the money to support themselves at home, or they're just not mentally ready because they're so young. And if they have a baby, it can seriously affect their mental health in the future and can cause neglect even to the child because that child is almost unwanted from that person. And also, the abortion law doesn't take into account for rape or incest, so it can really leave bad memories on women because if they were to forcefully have a child of their rapist or because of incest, they're gonna always have that constant reminder of what happened.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that they're forcing women to do all this. And speaking of the actual pregnancy itself, how do women, like, why do they not know that they're pregnant before the 6-week mark? How does that work?
Yeah, like I said, the abortion usually bans the abortions to happen after the 6-week mark, and this is because, they detect a heartbeat at the 6-week mark, but this is really deceiving as a lot of medical doctors have tested that this isn't actual heartbeat. This is just like the embryo moving around, and this isn't like they're not even fully developed at 6 weeks. And a lot of women don't know that they're pregnant until like after the 6-week mark, usually the 8-week mark, which is the estimate, because a lot of women have a lot of these pregnant-like symptoms before they've ever been pregnant, so they just think it's something normal. But then once they actually get pregnant, they don't notice until they get more severe like symptoms, like their belly's growing or them actually like being super nauseous.
Wow, that's interesting. So let's talk about what we can do in terms of all of our issues. I know that I was looking into some organizations that help with donating to Afghans and volunteering for refugees, just helping out the people themselves.
Yeah, and I think like donating would really help all the women in Afghanistan because I feel like it'll help them be able to have more access to education.
Yeah, for sure.
And for some of the calls to actions for the Texas abortion laws is that I really genuinely think that we should spread the awareness with all the people around us because these laws are spreading quickly to other states and we need to have more people and more voices to avoid these laws from spreading.
Yeah, educating yourselves and others is really important.
As well as donating and stuff to clinics because if people don't go to them because they're scared, they're gonna run out of the business.
Yeah.
Okay, so my call to action was interventions and the development of intervention programs at the school level because a lot of the participants, despite being 11 through 21, had really similar views and thought processes. So if it starts off at for instance middle school and through high school, then it'll help kind of remediate this body negativity issue.
Yeah, and I feel like spreading kindness towards everybody and spreading that body positivity through social media, I've definitely been seeing more of that recently because everyone used to think that they had to be a certain body type and, spreading that awareness, not everybody is perfect and everything like that will really help girls feel more positive about their bodies.
Right, it'll really connect everyone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for mine, you can check your CDC and whatnot and make sure you're wearing your mask so you don't get people sick. And, if you can, vaccinate, and if you can't, just continue wearing your mask.
Yeah, I feel like education is the prime thing for all of our topics and other topics that people would probably talk about because educating ourselves is what really makes us aware of what's happening around us and can prevent other things from happening or becoming worse.
Most def.
Yeah.
So I think we've come to an agreement, and I think that should be a wrap for the discussion of our current event issues.
And I also think that there's not just one topic that's more important than the other, but all of these topics are really important and should be spread, and everybody should know what's happening around them, even if it's not in the same country that they're in, and even if they're not the same gender or they're not in the same mindset of having all those different types of stereotypes and everything. It's good to know that all these different things are happening around the world.
Thank you.
Thank you.